Or use tortillas, simplify. These ways we constantly make sure we cheese to a minimum of voice. So you are
you
at the
get
top.
different responses from people because they are people
ರೈಲು
from
ಹತ್ತುವ
different walks of
ಮತ್ತು
life who
ಇಳಿಯುವ ಮುನ್ನ
experience different things.
ಅಂತರದ
The
ಬಗ್ಗೆ
way they interact
ಗಮನವಿರಲಿ.
with the installation or the mural is a feeling that you can't get when you exhibit in a white cube.
We're currently in a point in history where we have more people migrating forcibly than we have since World War II. But everyone has a story of migration, how they ended up where they are today. And all species migrate, but humans can tell stories about it. And that's what we do, is we collect stories about migration. And then those stories are compiled into collections of stories that we then projection map onto urban architectures.
They have an opportunity to almost have an artist residency and to do the workshop with the students in this way. When you work together so closely like this, you develop very close bonds and you're able to push through so many things, both social and intellectual and in terms of creating art.
Every writer, every worker has a story. So how do we find spaces to tell those stories? Every passenger that goes onto a train goes through a story in a day or a story in a life. So how do we capture those stories and we tell them? And what medium do we use? Do we use traditional storytelling, or do we use poetry? Do we use prose? Do we use video? Do we use a dance piece to tell a story? So I think there are so many ways to collect these stories of a location and then we tell them in a different way.
The idea of a story is that it can be multifaceted. There are many types of stories. Stories have many endings. They can be a sad story, a happy story, a melodramatic story, a story that confuses you, a story that shocks you, a story that makes you angry. And the idea of the Festival of Stories was to bring that plurality to a space like the Metro. What we've done with the Festival of Stories and keeping that as a continuous theme is to have these short events where we invite other artists to come and collaborate with us and collaborate with students to develop projects for the space. So what we're doing is that it is a learning space for students, but it then becomes a learning lab and a learning space for students and artists and the city in a much more fluid interaction.
It gives you a sense of connection, it gives you a sense of belonging, it makes you feel like you can relate with someone and someone can relate to what you're feeling. We're all wrapped in this blanket where we feel secure if we know things about people, if we know things in general about the world and how we think all of it could be real even if it isn't.
I think that all of us are storytellers by nature, but a lot of time we forget that, where we're told that just, hey, conform and just be, filling in numbers, just kind of be in line. And I think the story is able to really tap into our experience of who we are as people.
Our topic was because whoever we talked to always had a thing. Whenever we talk about what is the festival story, life is being celebrate we want to take that as So that was amazing.